It's a thought. So if you have access to a Twitter account, you might consider going ahead and following this right here, EA Snipes _ CHM122. So that actually is when I record the lectures, my YouTube videos will go there. When there's assignment due, what I'll do, and usually it's the same day so I don't forget, I'll go ahead and post the assignment that's due there, and so that's a thought. Anybody in here use the, well, I guess I'll get to that. You know, they have e-companion sites, kind of companion courses. So I've got that online feature. So we're going to meet in here from 10 to almost 11 on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then on Thursdays, which is tomorrow, we're going to meet in the Chem Lab at 9 o'clock. The textbook actually is by Tro, and it's the 5th edition, and it's in the bookstore has it. I know a lot of people don't get their stuff from the bookstore anymore, but what you'll need, though, from the bookstore are these two things. Two like bound things. You'll need PowerPoint lecture notes and a lab manual. So here's the deal about the lab manual, and I made a little note to myself so I get the colors right. Okay, if you already have the lab manual, which maybe you don't, if you have a blue one, you need to change that in for red. Okay, and that's just with the lab manual. Okay, if you have a blue one, swap it in for the red. The red just came in just, I think, yesterday. All right. What's that?
That's at the bookstore, right?
Mm-hmm, it's the bookstore, yeah. Yeah. Going on, if it lets me. Okay. So you'll also need goggles, and I brought in some goggles that you can have and a pair of goggles that you can't have. So tomorrow I've actually got some leftover goggles from people who that you can use this semester. You can take them if you want to. So, but for not tomorrow, but for next Thursday, you'll need a pair of goggles. And they need to be ventilated, okay, but so air can get into your eyes, but they can't be directly vented. So these are vented, they're great, okay, these are the ones I use. These are ventilated, but they're directly ventilated, so that would not work, okay? It's just a safety thing. So, let's see, you'll need a calculator, and it can't be programmable. A lot of people have the calculator that you can have that's my favorite is like the TI-30. Okay, TI-30 or 30X is great. But if it has a display that's kind of big, that means that's how I judge it. It means it's programmable, and the reason you can't have programmable is you could, and you wouldn't, but you could like basically use it as a mini computer and kind of feed it information and then have it with you on your test. Okay, so it can't be programmable, but it needs to be have scientific notation. So, like I said, my favorite one would be I really like the TI Products 30 or 30X. I think you can get it for like $10 or so. Yeah, that's programmable. So it'll work for homework, and that's programmable too. I know, they're great calculators. In fact, I use it for my work. But when you look for calculators, look for one that has an EE key or an EXP key or an SCI key. Any of those keys means that you can do scientific notation with them. There's another sort of notation that I can't remember what student, somebody showed me their calculators. It's like something new, and I can't remember like the fourth thing that means you can do scientific notation.
All the graphing calculators, that's why they have the big ones.
Yeah. Yeah, the graphing calculators will be programmable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love them. I love the feel of a good calculator. This kind of says, prerequisites. So the biggest prerequisite would be like some sort of math or algebra, and I'll kind of show you what sort of algebra you need to be able to do. So, for instance, do you guys remember, well, maybe, if you have some fractions you're going to multiply together, let's say you have 3/2, and let's say you have 2/4, and let's say you have 5/6, okay? And you want to multiply all of those fractions together. Do you remember that, like, you can cancel things?
Yeah.
Okay, what things could I cancel up there?
The 2s.
I can cancel the 2s. I'm liking that. Excellent. What about the, yeah, I can also take this 6, and we won't have to do this, but I can break 6 out into 3 times 2. And now what can I do? I can cancel the 3s, exactly. Okay. So if I want to kind of distill this down, to me, what do I have left on the top? Looks like I just have 5 on the top, and what do I have on the bottom? I have 4 and 2. I have 8. Yep. Yep. That's exactly the sort of algebra thing I'm after. Okay?
I don't usually. Sometimes I don't like to cancel.
You don't like to cancel?
Like, I know how to do it, I just don't like
Okay. Oh, I know how that goes. If you, the thing about messing up is the more you do them, the more you're like, oh, I got this. So, yep. Or it's maybe like bouncing your checkbook. If you're not sure about if you did a problem right, we'll do it again and see if you get the same answer. So, but that's the sort of thing I'm kind of looking for. Cool. So let's see. Why would you take this course? Well, there's a lot of reasons. One is that you need on your college transcript a science that has a lab with it. That'd be a great reason. The other is that you're going to want to go on into chemistry. And the next step for chemistry would be general chemistry 165, which I teach in the fall. I guess those are the big things. This chemistry, quite honestly, is similar to high school chemistry, except we do it in one semester. So, anybody in here had high school chemistry? Oh, everybody! Have you had it within the last 2 years? So it might be like deja vu. So if that's the case, just go with me. But that's kind of what it is. Because if you've had high school chemistry, you can go ahead and go into Chem 165. But everybody's high school chemistry is a little bit different. So, all right. So it's broken up into 4 units, 4 main units, and a 5th unit on gases. So you can kind of see in the syllabus what we'll be covering. After each unit, we're going to have a unit exam. I'll talk a little bit about the unit exams coming up. Oh, that went faster. So some great stuff. It's typical. Chemistry is broken up into a lot of different ways, but one way is just the chemistry of like life. Okay, that would be like more organic chemistry. And then what we're going to study, though, is kind of just basic chemistry, inorganic chemistry, so not life. So I mentioned the 5th unit of material. There is no 5th unit exam. I've never done it in the 13 years I've been teaching. So when it says a Unit 5 exam, if time allows, probably not. But we might get into gases after Unit 4 exam before we wrap up in May. Broad course goals, kind of standard. Again, if you've had chemistry in high school, these might look kind of familiar. So the way you'll get a grade in this class is by doing homework. And so basically about every time we meet, there will be a homework assignment. So if you do the Twitter feed and you miss a day, then through the Twitter feed you can see what I assigned. So in-class exams, I'll talk more about the exams like I said, but all my exams are going to be on Thursdays. You're like, well, why do you do it on Thursdays? Well, because I like to take the lab period. I like to take the whole 2 hours to go ahead and proctor a test. But the test was made to be taken in 1 hour. And you're like, well, how hard are your tests? Well, some students get done in like 20 minutes. Some students get done in like an hour and a half. But 2 hours would be kind of unusual. So you'll have 4 unit exams. The laboratory component actually is worth 1/4 of your grade. And the lab in Chem 122, Introduction to General Chemistry, is different than the lab in Chem 165. 122, all you got to do is show up and not blow up the place, okay? And you'll get credit for the day, okay? And you'll write some things down in your lab notebooks and everything, your lab
So that's kind of how it's broken out. Let's see. I'm supposed to tell you, is there any extra credit available? And no, there is no extra credit available. Every once in a while, I just kind of randomly throw it in there, but I don't have anything planned. Let's see. Attendance, go ahead and take attendance every day. So it's a commitment, 16 weeks is a commitment. I like to think sometimes what you're going through here, taking classes in general, is kind of preparing you a little bit for the workplace, You got to be somewhere to do something, and that's kind of what you're doing as a student. Let's see. So this kind of describes that if your attendance is good, that kind of gives me a little bit of wiggle room to kind of bump up your grade in the final analysis. In May, when I go to give you a grade for the course, I think all teachers do that a little bit. I do break it down into pluses and minuses, so that's kind of my wiggle room. So the lecture etiquette, every teacher's a little bit different, but to kind of tell you, my hot buttons are down here. Okay, don't text. Okay, don't surf on the internet. Don't talk to other students in general, but ask me forward questions if you have them. And here's an interesting one. Don't work on homework while you're in here. It's like I tell students. I've actually had students that had what's that when you fall asleep sort of condition?
Narcolepsy?
Yes, narcolepsy. So if you have an issue with falling asleep, feel free to bring something to drink or eat or something like that. Okay. So that works. Okay, so my lectures are via PowerPoint, and I was thinking this morning, how would I describe kind of the way I teach, and it's kind of like telling a story. So, and in the bookstore, some of you still don't have them yet, but in the bookstore is the bound thing for the PowerPoint notes. Okay. You can kind of read all that other stuff. Okay. Cheating, I don't think it's going to be an issue. A couple ways, though, that is if you hand in homework, just make sure it's your own. If you work with other people, that's cool. In chemistry problems, it's really possible that your problems look identical, when you turn them in, because it's chemistry. But I think that should be fine there. You'll have 4 unit exams, and they'll be given during labs on Thursday. I think I already kind of described about the exams a little bit. The exams will be closed book, and you can bring a calculator, but it has to be a non-programmable calculator. Now, say you miss a unit exam, and all teachers need to allow for that, and this is the way I've chosen to allow for it. There's 4 unit exams, and if you miss a unit exam, you'll tentatively have a 0 there. Although I do keep a gradebook online, I don't like to put zeros there. So I'll probably just leave it blank. And then when you take your final exam in May, I will substitute the percentage you earn on your final back in for that missed unit exam. So that's how I handle that. Now, if you miss 2 unit exams, that probably means things are kind of falling apart somewhere. And any questions about that?
If you know you're going to miss the exam, can we just reschedule with you to take it?
And that really happens. If you know you're going to miss an exam, you can take it early, but you can't take it late. So, yeah. And really, that's been a hard, being a teacher these years, it's been a hard thing to see life happen to students sometimes, But I'm really pretty firm on that. Okay. The thing also, let's say you take all 4 unit exams, it actually can benefit you to do well on your final, because if your final is higher than your lowest unit exam, it will count twice. It'll count as your final and also go and substitute in for that lower unit exam. So that's kind of handy. Okay. Assignments. Okay, so I kind of mentioned about there's going to be assignment every day, and Assignments are your practice to, you can think of a few ways. Just, your assignments are your way of getting material under your belt. Okay. So I will not accept assignments late, and that's been hard too, but that's, I think, the best or the fairest way to do that. So I don't accept late assignments, but remember there's the Twitter feed, so if you see an assignment is, you aren't here, you see an assignment is due, you can still, do it. The assignments will be due at 3 o'clock the day that they're due, which if we get to an assignment today, it will be due on Wednesday by 3. So it's the following class period by 3 p.m. Okay? But I will drop 10% of all your assignments in May. Okay? And I'll drop the lowest, so that includes zeros are just kind of low. Unit check assignments. Lecture guide problems. So when you get the PowerPoints, actually the first page of every unit is kind of got listed some extra problems that you can work, and it's got like the topic and extra problems. So that's a thought. If you're looking for something fun to do on a Saturday night, or just something to kind of get ready for the test maybe. Lab, we're going to meet tomorrow, and actually I've got another whole sheet talking about lab. But an important thing about lab here is it says if you are gone 3 consecutive lectures prior to the lab. So I'm thinking in a normal week that would be like Friday, then the Monday, and then the Wednesday. If you're gone, then I don't want you in lab because it might be dangerous. Lab may not make sense to you, so that's kind of why I put that in there. All right. Okay, eCompanion. I wonder if I just want to show you. Let's see what I can go to show you. eCompanion looks like this. There it comes. Oh, now it came back. Okay. So when you guys log into an SEC computer, let me go to the CC page. Okay. So you can actually do this from home too. So it should look something like this, your SEC computer, or your SEC site. This is sciowa.edu. And then there's the HawkNet email up there, and when I click on that, okay, then it will, I've logged in, so it already knows my login information. If you're not logged in, when you click HawkNet email, it'll ask you for your ID and stuff, okay? And then it will take you to your own personal, like, desktop, which is kind of nice. This is where you can get email, and this is where you, for this course, can go to the online classes. You click there. And this course should be listed for you down here-ish. Okay? See where it says Spring 2016 eCompanion? You should have CHM122 listed. So you go to open that up. And this is what she looks like. Now I'll be kind of modifying this, adding to it, and that sort of thing. What it first opens up to is what they call the course homepage. Okay, so this is your course homepage for CHM122. Like I said, I'll be kind of modifying it. I mentioned the Twitter. That sounds like the Google. Okay, but this where it says EA_Snipes_CHM122. Those are my announcements actually from about a year ago, or last May, okay, May 2015. So if you are an industrious student, which I guess are just a curious student, you could actually go backwards in my Twitter feed and you can see what I did for the whole semester. You could see me go over unit exams for the whole semester, probably, here and there. Okay, so that's kind of how that works. What I'm going to do, I'm recording this right now, so actually when you look at this in a little bit, okay, there'll be another entry here, and it will be this recording. So it's kind of like we're in a box that's in a box that's in a box, okay? This middle column is just kind of miscellaneous YouTube videos. I'll probably be changing that. This last column is my just miscellaneous science Twitter feed. But you see where it says grade book up there. That's kind of handy dandy. I think I might have said it in my syllabus this semester, but usually the grade book I'll wait till after unit exams to go ahead and update it, because there's nothing there. I need to set it up. So the grade book's not set up yet, but it will be. Under doc sharing, I think there are a few things. So if you go to the doc sharing tab, as you complete your homework and I grade it and give it back to you, I will reveal them under these tabs. So your homework answer keys are right there. As you take unit exams, I'll go ahead and put the answer keys there. Okay, so any questions? Sometimes students for other teachers, use the Dropbox feature, and I'm not using the Dropbox feature. That probably will go away. So, cool. Handy. All right, where were we? Guess we go back to here. Okay, so that was what I call eCompanion, the company website. Throughout the semester, if you have any special needs, let me know. Okay. So this course is broken out. Where are the points? Well, like I said, you're going to take unit exams, and the 4 of them are totally worth 45%. The final exam's worth a fifth of your grade. Those assignments that you're going to do are worth 10%, and your lab's worth 25%. So that's kind of how it's weighted. And then I kind of have the standard grade assignment. But like I said, this is where if your attendance and engagement is good, let's just say, let's pick on that range. Let's say you were at an 88.2%, okay? So according to this, you would be a B+, okay? But if you're, and I don't know if that's a very good example, it might be. If you have been engaged, your attendance is good, that sort of thing, you know, I can definitely go A-. Okay, that's how that works. All teachers do. Okay. So let's take a look at the lab thing. So tomorrow we're going to meet in lab, and we're not going to do a lab. We're just going to check in. Now, if we end up with 5, I usually do pairs for, partners, and we'll just kind of see how it ends up tomorrow. But we'll see what George will be using for the semester. We'll kind of look at the safety features of the lab. Let's see. I don't do makeup labs, but I do drop one lab. Okay. Let's see. That's like 1 and 2. Number 3, I already said you have to be in lecture if you're going to go to lab. Number 4 sometimes gets students that you need to be on time, and I've set the factor as 10 minutes. So if you're running late and you're going to be like 15 minutes late, then probably just don't come to that lab. And it's not to be totally cruel, but the first part of lab is always kind of like the safety part and what we're going to be doing in lab. And I've explained that to everybody else. And if you come in late, that just doesn't work. Most of our labs will be wet, but a few of them will be paper and pencil. We'll talk about safety for each lab. Keep your area neat. That's number 7. You know if it's an acid or water. So clean it up. And almost it. Number 8, lab's worth 25% of your grade. Number 9 is be proud of your data, whether it makes sense or not. So a lot of things in science have been found out just by first thinking it was a mistake. So any questions about all of that? Let's take a look, I think I've got here, at that addendum I gave you, that one cheater. This is relatively new. the powers to be think, and they're right, that you need to, everybody kind of needs to have this information at the beginning of the semester. So at the top there are some important dates. The last day to get 100% tuition and bookstore refund actually is kind of coming up, January 26th. February 19th, we have an in-service day, which I'd rather be teaching than an in-service day, but that's just kind of how it goes. And then there's a long break, it feels like, between February 19th, which you get a day off, you do anyway, on Friday, and spring break is not until March 14th, which seems like forever. But spring break is the 14th through the 18th. Let's see, what else we got? Final exams are going to be between the 9th and the 11th. And commencement, I think, for Keokuk is the 11th. I think I saw that. I like how they do instructor absences. That page that I went to get to the eCompanion site, that's where you can actually see who's called in for the day. What I do if I'm going to be gone is it's really easy to send everybody an email. So if you check your SEC email, I will have sent you an email if I'm not going to be there today. But good, bad, or otherwise, I'm always here. So I very rarely miss class. Now, weather-related closings. I do commute from Burlington, so if the roads are bad, be sure and check your email. And also, if the roads are bad, don't be out on those roads, taking your life into your own hands, okay? If the roads are bad and we had a test scheduled that day, we'll have to figure it out, They've been pretty good about canceling classes, I think. So there's something about our integrity, the SEC integrity policy, students with disabilities, and I'm really not sure what this EEOCAA thing is, but there you go. Okay? So what I'd like to do now, and I know not everybody has their PowerPoints with them, but I'd like to go ahead and to